It's only those who have attained the age of 18 or those who biometrics were not captured the other time are the only people, eligible for the forthcoming CVR that will be done nationwide.
Well, let's not just stay on this registration issue too much, but one wonders if INEC is also bothered, because when Professor Jega talked about overheating the polity, is INEC bothered about the crisis we see in different political parties? And if they are, what are they doing about that?
There is no doubt that all Nigerians, and particularly INEC that is responsible for this assignment, should not be bothered. Indeed, we are worried. And that is why the chairman has been advising stakeholders to be careful. We are worried because what is going on is not what's expected. Because elections, a period of elections is a period for what you call national renewal of policies and of individuals that have championed this policy for a period of time. And that is why in the US, in other parts of the world, in fact, they call it celebration of elections. Because that's the period where we expect to hear great speeches. Speeches that will reflect on key issues that matter to the citizens of that country. Period where we have speeches that really will uplift the spirit of citizens. A moment where we have speeches that we encapsulate the principle of decency and tolerance. Speeches about where we are going to, where we are going to, and not how best we can abuse ourselves. That's a moment that people should look up with great expectations and not to think about our country or speak about our country in low tunes. And that's why we are worried, because if you look at issues bordering, and you can see the gathering storm at the moment, about candidates or political parties and so on and so forth, all the crises within parties going on, are clear reflection of a movement towards anarchy, which of course, as Emily Duncan have said, is not necessarily the absence of laws, but the breakdown, failure of the laws to apply. So, but if you look at other parts of the world, people celebrate it because it's a moment that election reflect their values, their attitude, what is expected to be done. So really, we are worried, but ours is to draw attention of stakeholders to what the law says in some of the things that they do. There are periods for campaigns, stipulated under section 99 subsection 2 of the Act. There are procedure under section 223 as to how,
Does it mean that nobody has violated, nobody has violated that provision?
That's why we are drawing the attention, because first, what power do INEC have?
If they violate it.
What power do INEC have?
INEC can point it out to the police.
And as you can see,
they're the umpire. They can point it out.
Coming to that, there are provisions under section 87 as to how your candidate will emerge. There are provisions under section 31, 32, 33, 35 on how you want to change your candidate, that you must not have what you call double candidate.
Already INEC has that issue now with so many some political parties,
in Anambra State.
Specifically in Anambra State, and they are already in court. Does that mean that INEC, or should we say the judiciary, haven't done well in this regard?
This is the difficulties that the INEC job is one of the most difficult tasks. You see, right here in Channels TV, you are responsible to the one management here. But in INEC, you are responsible to so many stakeholders, many of whom you are not in control of. This is the challenge of the job. At the moment, you are on crossfire between decisions of political parties and judicial decisions. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of sitting with about 7 judges in an informal setting, because during the MBA conference opportunity to really sit down and discuss a few things. And I said that, look, my lords, our constituency is a challenge in our effort to sustain our democracy. That if a country will ever die at all, and if Nigeria will ever die, it will die because of our failure to stand tall and mighty in defense of the rule of law. Because when you talk about democracy, you talk about the rule of law. Is that what is going on? We have got to a level where you see the same court giving different order on the same subject matter. Party A, two parties, one will be in one court of the same jurisdiction, in one court. The same person will go to another court, you get different orders every day. As a matter of fact, it will appear that most political class members now, they have in their briefcase different orders. It depends on which one is relevant, they will bring an order to direct you. So this is where we have found ourselves. And so really, you see, if you go by what Alex Tocqueville said about the United States, he says, look, the strength of the democracy in U.S. was essentially because of the role played by the judiciary. We have seen that in Ghana. We saw that even in Kenya, that in March, when we went for the election, on Monday, on the 4th, somebody, a member of a political manager of an MP, was found, inducing poll officers with money. He was arrested on Monday. It's not INEC, it is security that was responsible for that. By Tuesday, he was convicted for 3 years imprisonment. That's what happened. Election was ongoing. So in those countries, election period is a period to assess the commitment of political parties, the commitment of state institutions to the ideal of that state. Is that what we have here in this country? Look at Section 100 of the Electoral Act that says that political parties, that the state apparatus, including the media, all right, must be made accessible to all political parties and candidates. What do we see happen in that very place? Where is NBC there? Where is the role of NBC? Who is to enforce that?
Why is it that?
Now, so gradually you find out that the policy is now being heated up gradually. And that's why we'll continue to engage them, because part of the problem we have, why we cannot make certain extensive engagement on some of these issues, is that either some of these issues are already in court, but as an umpire, you cannot make certain statement because it will appear to be endorsing various existing opinions. And that is why we are advising that we should do, we are advising political stakeholders to stand to abide by the rules as provided by the Constitution, the Electoral Act, particularly their own guidelines.
Let me quickly put this one in. So I was listening to the INEC chairman, and one thing that struck me, while he was speaking with the different recs, is that he was saying that as 2015 approaches, you will come under different types of pressure. The pressure on you will increase. Can you help us shed more light on the kind of pressures that you might face?
Well, of course, what pressure other than the fact that we are in a society where people, they want to do the right thing, and we expect you to do the wrong thing. And what are the pressure really? It has to do with our insistence that you must do the right thing. A process of your primaries, convention, issue about internal democracy is very key, and we are strong on that. And of course, when you advocate for change, there are people who are usually be engaged that kind of thing. So you are going to come under pressure, by the political class wanting you to do it. So
it's not just because you
don't.
What struck me there was, is it just monetary inducements? That's the first thing that came to my mind. Yes. I mean, that you might be offered money, and that's what a lot of people would classify as pressure. But do you think that there are other types of pressure that one doesn't see, that the average rec will go through?
No, not only money. Of course, pressure about the fact that you have done what is wrong, and the commission is saying no. What you have done is a violation of the process. They want to put you under pressure, want to appeal to you that please you should allow it to go that way. That is one major pressure that you are going to get. Of course, you are going to get people from your former classmates, primary school classmates, secondary school classmates, trying to talk to you. And you see, but for us, we have moved beyond that level. Because for some of us, and a number of us really, the rule of law is very clear. We cannot deviate from it. An umpire is the last person that can actually help you.
But some accuse INEC of deviating from that. When in Anambra, when they said, look, the party, the PDP said, this is our candidate. And INEC didn't accept that candidate. And then for some reason, everybody thought, you accept the candidate, then whatever the court says, and then you'll be. But in this case, You didn't even accept the candidate. You recognize another candidate, and